A very good evening to you. We are going to talk to Right Honorable Patricia Scotland, the Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations, at a time when the whole world is engulfed in this pandemic, COVID-19. We are going to talk to the Secretary General of the Commonwealth of Nations as to what they have in store in terms of the health sector, in terms of the economy, or the member states of the Commonwealth of Nations. Good evening to you, madam, and good morning
Good
in
evening.
your time frame.
Yes. Well, good morning and good evening. It's very good to be with you.
Thank you very much, madam. I understand that this is a very busy time. So let me get to the nuts and bolts straight away. Madam, the Commonwealth of Nations has 54 countries that are its members. Now, almost all of these countries are feeling the impact of the COVID-19 at the moment. And we, Sri Lanka as a nation, are also feeling the effects, the impact of COVID-19 from the health aspect as well as the economic aspect. Now, in terms of the Commonwealth of Nations, with these 54 countries, what does the Commonwealth have in store for the countries that are its members?
Well, the first thing to say is the Commonwealth has acted in real solidarity. We perhaps have never needed our family more because, as you rightly say, this pandemic has reached its tentacles into every nation in the world, and those who have managed to fight it have fought it by pooling together right the way across the society. So we've seen countries, as with Sri Lanka, where the government, the opposition, the people have all committed themselves to keeping each other safe. So solidarity has been a real hallmark of the success that has taken place in our Commonwealth. And it is that solidarity that was really underlined when our Commonwealth ministers of health met yesterday. They met for the first time ever at a virtual meeting, and all of the member countries shared their knowledge. They shared what worked, they shared what did not work. And Sri Lanka was very strongly represented. The head of CASH, which is the body which prepares knowledge and documents and information for the health ministers, was led by a very skillful Sri Lankan woman, and we were very proud to hear the recommendations that she made. But this is an opportunity for all of us, because this 2.4 billion people in our Commonwealth share one single goal when it comes to COVID-19, and that is to eradicate it. So together we have created on the Commonwealth website the Coronavirus Resource Centre, where we have pooled the knowledge and the expertise from around our Commonwealth to share it. We have a coronavirus tracker. We've been looking at the economic impact. We're looking at the impact on people's mental health. We're looking at the impact it has made on the increase in domestic violence. We're looking at the economic issues, and we're also looking at the climate change issues. Because as you know, all of us are now having to deal with this climate crisis. And Sri Lanka has been absolutely with us in the work we've done on the Blue Charter, leading on the work we're doing in relation to mangroves, taking all the knowledge and the expertise that Sri Lanka has sadly gained as a result of responding to the tsunami and sharing it with all of us. So this has been a real effort of solidarity, of community, of multilateralism, and this is something that the Commonwealth has historically done. And as you know, Sri Lanka is a very much and well-beloved member of our Commonwealth family.
Yes, madam. And we have to also look at the economic and especially the trade aspect as well. And as a nation,
Absolutely.
we do a lot of trade with the Commonwealth, especially in the European region. Now, my question to you would be, what is the Commonwealth doing in terms of the trade, especially taking into consideration the Asian Commonwealth countries, the countries that are also, majority of the countries are a part of SARC as well. And what does the Commonwealth have for these countries? Do we have a plan in terms of going forward? What is going to happen in that department?
Well, the first thing to say is that we're really worried because of the correct action that all countries are seeking to take. It has had an impact on our economic futures. So the UN are estimating that this COVID pandemic may cost the world up to $2 trillion, and just on the developing world, it has estimated that we are going to potentially lose $220 billion, not including for the developing world, which doesn't include what's happening in China. So this is potentially going to be an economic tsunami coming our way. So the other thing we're doing as a Commonwealth of Nations is we're pooling our knowledge in that regard too.
Madam, and I want to ask you about this health ministers conference that was held as well. Uh, Especially at a time like this, the knowledge aspect is very important for the countries to be able to share this knowledge is paramount at this moment. Now, what were the outcomes of this health ministers meeting? And as a country that is also trying very hard to sort of flatten the curve and keep everyone safe here in Sri Lanka, what can we as a country learn from this special meeting that you all had on the 14th?
Well, the first thing I want to say is I want to commend Sri Lanka. I want to commend the people, the government of Sri Lanka for the way in which you have already worked together to control this pandemic. Sri Lanka has, yes, lost a number of people, but I'm tragically have to tell you that you have done so much better than so many of our other countries because of the way in which Sri Lanka has bound together and has really developed a cohesive way. All of us are trying our hardest, but some of us came to this terrible pandemic later and were able to learn from the things that those who went before us, who were struggling for the first time to understand this pernicious, wicked disease, but their courage in helping us to understand better what to do and also what not to do has benefited everyone. So what we saw at the Commonwealth Health Ministers meeting is an understanding of what works. And so we looked at the WHO guidelines, and that was something that we were able to benefit from because Dr. Tedros joined us. We made a commitment that it was the multilateral sharing of information that was really important. We also understood that universal health coverage is absolutely vital, and making sure that it's not just COVID pandemic, but the other issues that we need to do. But we looked at the data sharing, because pooling that data, understanding the data, gives us the power to make a difference. But we also have, last year, the health ministers committed to create a platform for the opportunity to procure cheaper, better generic drugs and equipment. What came up in that meeting was the availability of the right medication. And therefore, the platform, the data sharing platform on procurement, which the Commonwealth Secretariat has created and is in the process of perfecting, will be a very important vehicle. The other thing that we talked about was the nexus and commitment between public and private. You'll know that we have amazing accredited organizations such as the Commonwealth Doctors Association, the Commonwealth Nurses Association, the Commonwealth Pharmacists Association, Rotary. All those are coming together to see how we can help each other. And a number of innovative apps which were created by various numbers of our countries were shared. We know that Ghana has come up with the genome for the COVID-19 pandemic. So all of these opportunities to share our innovations, to share the fact that in a number of our countries, cheaper, effective tests are being created. All of that has really made a difference. And those were the things that we were sharing as health ministers. And it was wonderful to hear what some of the smallest countries were doing to keep their people safe. Because of the 13 countries who have managed to have no COVID in their countries, 10 of them are within our Commonwealth, and 7 were in the Pacific. So a number of those small countries had things to teach us, but Sri Lanka was able to share all she knew with the rest of us. So India has been reaching out, and I know that India has been assisting Sri Lanka, Bangladesh, Maldives, and that knowledge sharing from our technology has been really critical. And we know that the digital divide is so clear, and we need to breach and bridge that divide. And our ministers of health are finding ways to do that. And today we will be finalizing the statement, which will then be presented to the World Health Assembly, which will take place next week. So these are very important days right now.
We basically depend on the trade aspect here as well. We depend on the exports that we have, and as you can understand, this has brought it almost to a complete halt. Absolutely. In terms of imports and exports. Again, the Commonwealth is made up of 54 nations. All these countries depend on imports and exports as well. What can we as a nation do together with the Commonwealth to maybe look to a brighter future, maybe to increase trade in the coming few months or at least the next year? What can Sri Lanka expect from the Commonwealth?
Well, I hope that Sri Lanka will fully participate in the webinar sessions that we are going to hold on every Wednesday between now and the 12th of June, because we're going to be looking at so many of the issues. What do we do about unemployment? What about our young people? Because the biggest opportunity we have is the fact that 60% of our Commonwealth is under the age of 30. That's a huge power bank. So how do we galvanize that power? How do we make sure that they have the opportunity for the innovation and the creativity? But we have set up the connectivity agenda. We have 5 different working groups. We also are looking at how we can accelerate the trade for small and medium-sized businesses, because we know if we look at the developing opportunities, that those small and medium-sized businesses are going to be critical. Most of them run by young people, but also by women. And we have to galvanize the trading opportunities, not only for our men but also for our women and also for our young people. So the work that we're doing together on that connectivity agenda is incredibly important. If we're going to raise the $700 billion intra-Commonwealth trade we currently have to the $2 trillion that we hope that we'll be able to have, there are opportunities for us. The WTO Trade Facilitation Agreement enables us to come up with some of the mechanisms which will take advantage of the fact that we have common systems. We have a common law, we have a common government system, we have common administrative systems, and that's what gives us our 19% advantage. So we have to work on that. But in Africa, we have 19 countries in Africa who are a member of our family. Africa has just agreed the African Free Trade Area Agreement, allowing us to work even more closely with our African brothers and sisters on the issues of trade. So if we have common mechanisms by which we can implement the World Trade Organization's Trade Facilitation Agreement, and those mechanisms are similar to and interoperable with the African Free Trade Areas, also their methodology, then this platform is an opportunity for us to take advantage of. But remember, Asia has been a powerhouse when it comes to technical and digitalization. So if we can get behind those new digitalized services and advance the economy on those areas also, that is opportunity for us. And so although this time has been so stressful, so difficult, so heartbreaking when we think of so many people who have lost the people they desperately love, we have to look at some of the positives that have come out. Namely, we have stood together. We have rushed to each other's support. And within our Commonwealth family, nobody has been saying, give me. We've all been saying, what can I do? How can I help to support you? How can I make sure that your businesses get back up? How can we share? And this comity, this willingness to help one another, this opportunity to actually love the brothers and sisters that we have within our 2.4 billion people, that is where our hope lies. But I think that no country can do this on our own. We need the solidarity, the warmth, the commitment that has bound our Commonwealth together for more than 70 years. We have had tough times before, but our Commonwealth has stood together in solidarity. And what I am seeing through this equally tough time is yet again, our Commonwealth is reaching out its hands to our member states, our family. And once again, our Commonwealth is saying, what can I do to help? That is what is going to get us through. That is what Sri Lanka gives to her family. And that is what her family of the Commonwealth will give to Sri Lanka. We will stand together in these bad times, just as we've stood together in the good times too.
Thank you very much, Madam, for your time. I sincerely wish you good luck for all the initiatives that you and the Commonwealth have undertaken at this difficult time frame for its member states, as you called it, the family of the Commonwealth. Thank you once again, Madam, for joining us and talking to us.
And thank you, Sri Lanka, for all you've done on climate change and health and being with us. Thank you, Sri Lanka.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Have a good day.